I respect Daniel Jacobs, and he did a very good job and a clean job, and respect my team and all the people that support me. Daniel Jacobs is my favorite fighter. Clean, good quality, very good fighter. This is boxing. I am a boxer. I respect his team. This is boxing, and I needed a decision fight. I wasn't thinking that I needed the 12th round to win the fight. This was my first test at 12 rounds. I needed a quality fight, not just the 12th round. Of course, I am ready to fight Canelo. Of course, I want that fight. I'll be like an animal for that fight. I will give Danny Jacobs a chance for a rematch. So that is a quote from Gennady Triple G Golovkin following his 12-round unanimous points decision win over challenger Danny Jacobs. He says he would be willing sometime in the future to give Danny Jacobs a rematch, but it seems for now his focus is on Canelo Alvarez and Billy Joe Saunders. There is talk that he may be fighting Billy Joe Saunders in his home country of Kazakhstan next, and possibly a Canelo fight in 2018. That's looking more likely than late 2017. So Danny Jacobs, we know that he's desperate for a rematch. He believes he won the first fight, as do many other people. Not everybody. There are plenty of people who believe Golovkin won. There are plenty of neutral people who believe Golovkin maybe nicked it by a point or it was a draw, or neutral people who believe Danny Jacobs won a close decision. It's not everybody who's crying robbery. But I think we can all agree that Danny Jacobs was the most difficult challenge that Triple G has had during his title reign so far. And therefore, a rematch is something that would interest a hell of a lot of people, because Danny Jacobs was able to do so much better against Triple G than anybody else has so far. And I suspect that Billy Joe Saunders will not be able to do as well against Triple G as Danny Jacobs did. I think Billy Joe Saunders likely gets stopped by Triple G. As far as Canelo, I've said this before and I'm going to reiterate because I've seen nothing in the Jacobs fight to make me think otherwise. I believe that Golovkin is going to deteriorate over the next few years. And if Canelo fights Triple G, let's say in late 2018, I'll probably be picking Canelo to beat him. It all depends on what happens in Canelo's career between now and then. He might not look too hot himself in his performances. But if Canelo continues to improve the way that he has been, and as I say, he fights Triple G in late 2018, I think I'll probably be picking Canelo in that fight, because I just feel like Father Time is against Triple G, particularly being a come forward, aggressive pressure fighter. Those kind of guys don't tend to age very well. They don't tend to have the kind of longevity that technicians have, pure technicians, guys who are defensive boxers. Triple G, although he is very good technically in terms of his accuracy and the quality of the punches that he lands, he does take punishment in fights. So that is going to aid you more so than anything else. And it's not just in the fights, obviously in the sparring too. So those are my particular thoughts. I can understand from a business point of view why Golovkin wouldn't be fighting Jacobs again. There's no rematch clause in the contract, so he's not obligated to fight Jacobs again. And he knows it was a very tough fight. He wants to unify the middleweight division. He's been saying this from day one. So a Billy Joe Saunders fight next would be the logical next step. From a business point of view, you can't hate on that. He has to be doing that. If whether you believe he beat Danny Jacobs or not, it would kind of be counterproductive for him to rematch Jacobs right away. If he's going to rematch Jacobs, at least unify the division, get the Canelo fight out of the way, and then maybe talk about a fight with Jacobs. You know, they might even be able to make Jacobs fight at a higher weight if Golovkin wants it there, or have it at 160. You know, whatever he wants. Jacobs being a very, very big middleweight, he might have to move up to, 168 pounds super middleweight. He might have to move up to that weight sooner rather than later anyway. So perhaps if they do have a rematch, it'll be at that weight, which you would probably think would favor Jacobs even more. So let me know what you think of this, people. There are people saying that Golovkin is going to duck the rematch with Jacobs. As much as I'd like to see a rematch, and as much as I thought Jacobs won the fight, again, I have to say, like, I do kind of understand Golovkin's perspective. You know, why should he rematch Jacobs right away? His career is not going to go on forever. Boxers only have a finite time. I mean, if you was in Golovkin's shoes and you just have the toughest fight of your career, in a fight which you maybe at the final bell weren't sure whether you'd actually won, would you go right back and fight that guy again voluntarily when you haven't yet achieved your goal of being undisputed champion and you haven't yet got that Canelo fight? Would you do it in that situation? Because if you do it and you lose next time on the cards, it's going to obviously stop you becoming undisputed champion, and it's going to stop you cashing in on a Canelo fight. So I know we do complain about these kind of things, but at the end of the day, it is prize fighting, and he has stepped in the ring with Danny Jacobs once. So I'm not personally going to be that hard on him not fighting an immediate rematch with Jacobs. You know, even though I felt like Jacobs won, because I do understand it's not like he's, you know, going out there and just fighting some cab drivers instead of Jacobs. He's trying to fight one of the other champions in Billy Joe Saunders. And he's trying to fight, I guess, the person who's still seen as the lineal middleweight champion, Canelo Alvarez. So, you know, I can't hate on him taking those fights instead of a Jacobs rematch. But let me know how you feel in the comment section below. Do you think Golovkin will eventually honor his word there and actually give Jacobs the rematch? And if the rematch happens, what weight do you think it will happen at? And what do you think the outcome will be second time around? You think Golovkin will do better? You think Jacobs will do better? If it happened at 168, would you favor Jacobs even more if you're picking Jacobs? Or maybe you'd favor Golovkin? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. It's happening, I'm out.